Today I'm going to be talking about something better and cheaper than Claude Code Skills. Less security vulnerabilities, easier to execute, no hallucination risk. Let's get right into it. So everyone's talking about Claude Code Skills right now. I made a video recently about how Claude Code Skills are actually a security vulnerability, and the response got me thinking about something bigger. Not just the security angle, but the whole premise of learning skills as your primary tool inside Claude Code. Because here's what nobody's really saying. Every time a skill runs, you're burning tokens. And for what most people are using the skills for, there's actually better options that cost almost nothing to run, is more secure, and your AI agents can use them on repeat without even thinking about it. It's called a CLI, a command line interface. And I've been building them instead of skills, and I'm not going back. Skills are basically pre-written instructions, prompts that Claude Code pulls in when it needs to do something. On the surface, that sounds efficient, but what's actually happening is Claude is reading that skill file, loading all those instructions into context, processing them, and then executing every single time. If you're running a skill repeatedly, and the whole point of automation is to run things repeatedly, you're just hemorrhaging tokens every time that skill fires. And I've got limited Claude Code usage. Most people do. So when I'm running automated workflows, I'm not trying to have Claude reread a wall of markdown instructions every time I need a function executed. That's just wasteful. Here's what I did instead. I took the function that I kept running and I just built an application around it, actual software, and then I turned that into a CLI. So now instead of Claude reading instructions and figuring out how to just do the thing, Claude calls the command, one line, almost zero tokens. The application handles the logic, and this is the thing that people aren't really connecting to. AI agents are really good at using CLIs, right? You give an AI agent a CLI that has clear commands or with a help command where it can list everything. The AI agent can use it clearly, repeatedly, no context bloat, no processing the same instructions. It just calls the command and moves on. The agent's context window stays lean, the workflow stays fast, and I spent maybe 2 hours building the thing once, and now it runs forever. No token waste every time, like no questioning, oh, did this step go right? Or, no hallucinations in there either. That's the other thing, right? So there's several CLIs I built. The one that I built that I like the most that I'll show you real quick. So I want to show you one of the CLIs that I've built. Now this one, the command I can't even type. The command I run is ngin. And what that is it's a CLI for my social media posting SaaS, right? So this is on my Windows system, right? You can see I ran the command. I could run like help post, and then I can get more info about the post. Or I can have my AI do it for me. And so then here is my pocket agent, right? This is OpenClaw. If you have your own OpenClaw, whatever, right? This is an AI pocket assistant, right? So on my desktop here, I said, give me an overall summary of everything I can do with this CLI, workflows, single actions, etc. So it can post, it can create posts, list the posts that I have, publish posts, delete a post, reschedule a post. And this is to any of the social media accounts that I have connected, right? So it can manage my accounts. It can help me log into my new ones, right? Refresh the account, auth tokens, list the connected social account, get details. Sorry, not connect for me. I go do that myself on the browser. Just it's easier for me to manage. I could add that in here, I guess. Analytics, so it can go through all of my analytics on all my accounts for me because the app I made pulls all the analytics in. As far as automated stuff, so Seed, that's like taking a content idea and going all the way through to an autopilot engine. We can do drafts. We can go through and do batch content. Spark is also part of the Seed thing. Those go together. So the Seed happens, and they'll call the Spark. But of course, the AI understands that by running all the help commands. We can auto reply to some comments and do some replying stuff because I added that in. So replying to tweets and YouTube comments, whatever, things like that. Brand voice. So in the software I made, I can have different voices, right? So let's say I'm trying to target maybe different avatars, or if I'm running a couple different accounts on here, then I need to be able to switch the brand voice for each account, right? And then we can do queue jobs for scheduling and stuff like that. And then here's some workflows you can change, right? So an idea to a post. So you can see it understands everything that we need to do there, that it can do with the CLI very easily. And every time it runs one of these commands, the function just happens because I used Claude Code to make the app, and now the app works. So now Claude doesn't have to waste tokens every time doing the same repeatable function over and over, right? So way more useful than skills. Definitely a good way to go. It's what I'm doing. I built this social media cross-posting app, and I turned it into a CLI so that my AI agent can do the posting for me, right? It knows where the files are it needs to access, and because it has a CLI command, it's super easy for it to post to whatever website with proper caption, description, and everything like that. Before, this was going through a skill every time, or, you know, a slash command, and now that it's a single terminal command, my agent can call it without even touching Claude's context in like any meaningful way. I'm talking just a few thousand tokens and my post is up, right? And this is because it's a real application. It's not just useful for agents, but I can run it myself. I have the front end visual through the app, right? Or I could just hand it off to the agent now for them to run programmatically, which is the whole reason I built the CLI, right? So it's the same underlying code though. That's the thing, right? So now I have something I can post in and my agent can use, and it helps me so I'm not burning context every time. Like, that's why I say building a custom CLI for yourself way better than trying to spend an hour or two building a custom skill for yourself, right? But having these two ways to use it, one for me and one for my agents, that's just something that skills can't and won't ever give you. I covered this in the last video, but it's worth kind of connecting the dots in this one. Skills are just text file that Claude reads and execute, which leaves it vulnerable to prompt injection, which is where injected content can manipulate how Claude interprets those instructions, which can leave you hacked, your credit card taken, you keylog, maybe you have a rat and now they can see your webcam, all that stuff, right? A real vulnerability. A CLI though, it doesn't have this problem. The logic lives in the code that runs outside of Claude's context entirely. There's no instruction set up for a bad actor to manipulate through prompt injection. Claude calls the command, the application does the thing, returns a result. It's a clean separation. So you get token efficiency, you get reusability, you get much tighter security posture. 3 wins right there over skills. Bigger point, what I keep seeing is people, they're just so focused on getting Claude to do everything that they skip the step of building the tool that does the thing for them. Spend 2 hours building an application that handles the functions you need, then turn it into a CLI. Agents have a reliable, repeatable, token cheap way to execute those functions indefinitely, right? Sure, skills make sense in certain situations. I'm not saying throw them out entirely. I have a few dynamic skills that I use to compare my code to real world examples, to find missing things in my code base, but they're not doing the same thing every time. They're very dynamic. And I actually use them more as slash commands. I never invoke them with natural language. But just know, using skills as a crutch because you don't want to build the underlying application, that's where I think people are leaving like a ton of efficiency on the table. The whole point of AI agents is that they can use the tools you give them better tools then. A CLI is that better tool than a skill anyways for anything you plan to run more than maybe once or twice, or especially a handful of times. So anyways, that's where I'm at with this. Build the CLIs, agents are running it cleanly, token usage way down on these workflows, and I've got a more secure setup than I did relying on other people's skills, right? So the skills conversation, it's going to keep going in this space, but if you're building serious automation, workflows that run on repeat, agents that need to execute functions reliably for you or your clients, it's worth thinking about whether a skill is the right tool or whether you should just build the thing and then make a CLI so that your agent can also access it. All right, that's all I got for today. Leave any questions you might have below. Do all the YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe. My name's Nolan. If you're interested in learning how to build your own CLI, join the school community below. I got a quick start on, you can steal my 7 months of learning. So, I've been doing Claude Code actually, we're only on like 8 months. It's the middle of March. So yeah, 8 months now, every day of Claude Code, 10 plus hours a day. If you want to jumpstart, join the community, and I'll see you there. Peace.